Hi, I'm Sue Daley and welcome to Just Like a Jigsaw Month 8. We're certainly powering through these now, and today we're working with the kite shape. Now, I'm not sure, a lot of people actually don't understand how we get a kite shape, but a kite shape actually comes from a hexagon. And I'm going to show you how that happens. So here I have 6 kite shapes that make up a hexagon. So how a kite shape is made is by cutting a hexagon in half from flat edge to flat edge, flat edge to flat edge, and flat edge to flat edge. So that way you have 6 different pieces to make up that hexagon. So we have a kite shape in there. Okay. Now sometimes if we were to cut a hexagon from a different angle, from point to point and point to point and point to point, we'd end up with an equilateral triangle. So by cutting up a hexagon in various different ways, you can come up with all sorts of different shapes, like 6-pointed stars and your equilateral triangles and your kite shapes and parallelograms, and all sorts of things come from a hexagon because the angles are the same. So that's how we actually go about getting a kite shape. Now, kite shapes come in various sizes. The one that you're getting this month is the 1-inch kite and the 1-inch hexagon. So that's this smaller one here. So if you just sew 3 of them together with the wider angle into the middle, you'll end up with an equilateral triangle. So you could in fact make up little equilateral triangles by using those 3 and then join them together with the same size triangle, a plain one, and join them alternately with a pieced and a plain equilateral triangle. There's so many different things. I mean, as I stand here looking at this, like a million ideas come through my head of designs. Up here, which is the pattern that you've got in your little layout diagram this month, which is this one here. It's made up of these shapes here, which is your 1-inch hexagon in the middle with your kite shape coming around like a whirligig around the outside of it. And when you make those up and join them together, you end up with the whole quilt layout that you have on your little piece of paper here that you've got in with your package. If you turn the page over, you will see that I've made up on one of your little examples here, I've made up lots of these and we've joined them all together, and so you end up with just equilateral triangles sewn together, and it creates another effect. Down on the bottom one, the other example, the third example that you've got in your package, is your kite shapes again sewn up in your little equilateral triangles like that, but making sure you put your colours in the right order, and then you end up with a pattern that looks like the one in your diagram. So you've got all the darks in the middle and the lights on the outside. So there's various things that you can do with your kite shape. There's another pattern that you can do, which I've done in this quilt here. This quilt's called From Me to You, and the centre block is made up of kite shapes. So they're our larger kite shape, and in the middle I've fussy cut the kite shapes and I've joined them like that. So I've cut each of the kite shapes on the same pattern repeat, and I've joined them back together so we get a fussy cut centre. Then I've joined 2 kite shapes with the same colour on this one, and then 2 kite shapes the same colour here, join them together and sewn them around the outside edge. So if you put 2 kite shapes together on the long edge, you'll end up with a double kite shape. And then on these pieces around going further out, as you come further out to the block here, if you join your kite shapes up on a short edge, then you end up with a different shape, and you can sew them with the long edge across the outside of this now larger hexagon, and you'll end up with a star forming on the outside. And then I've just sewn another kite shape into the top. So in fact, if you break it all down, and it doesn't matter how you sew these pieces together, it's whatever's the easiest for you, you can sew these together, or you could have made this section up here as 3 kite shapes into an equilateral triangle and then sewn it on to your hexagon in the middle here. Around the outside of this one, I've just added a 6-pointed star just to give it a different look. But this is a very popular pattern right now. You'll see that on the internet, you'll see it on Pinterest. A lot of people are making this particular pattern, with these pieces, so it's all over the place. So that's a good example, and you can see I've fussy cut, I've used stripes and some spots in there as well. So don't be afraid to use your stripes and spots. When you're working with stripes, a lot of people don't like to work with stripes when they're doing their patchwork, but with English paper piecing you can work with your stripes. You can line them all up so they're all exactly how you want them to be, and then they look perfect on when you piece it together, because honestly you can't make a mistake with English piecing. If it goes together, it'll sew together. So that's it from me for this month, and I'll be back again next month with our next installment. So have a great time with all of that, and I'll see you soon.